Obviously, Donald Trump can't run for president again, but if he could, under this current circumstances, could you see yourself voting for him?
Quite possibly. I'm not going to sit up there and dismiss that anymore. I think we're beyond that. He
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Real Talk with Darius. Remember to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and share this channel. We're about to listen to some surprising news from many people's favorite, one of many people's favorite sports news media voices. Let's check it out.
Welcome back, America. Stephen A. Smith. So could you see yourself seeing what you see now? And obviously, Donald Trump can't run for president again, but if he could, under this current circumstances, could you see yourself voting for him?
Quite possibly. I'm not going to sit up there and dismiss that anymore. I think we're beyond that. He would have to prove a lot, Mark. And I'm not talking about policy now. For a second, allow me to say this. What concerned me about Donald Trump and the reason I voted against him and voted for Kamala Harris was because I felt that he would be divisive, that he would create chaos because he demands such a level of loyalty and fealty to him. And that would take priority over governing our nation. That was my concern. And so I'm looking for both sides to work across the aisle from one another. Having said that, when you see some of the things that he said, if he follows through on some of the things that he has said, it's not just about eradicating inflation, improving the economy, obviously controlling our borders. These are all things that I care about. Make no mistake about that. And I certainly would support him in that regard. But it can't be just about fealty to him and loyalty to him. It has to be about getting the job done on behalf of what's in the best interest of the American people.
See, that's why I disagree with Stephen A. at it. He's not listening to the right media. And I think as intelligent as he is, and that's what I've found is to be one of the most challenging things, is that a lot of intelligent people, when I say intelligent, I'm talking, anyway, there are a number of intelligent people who can't really see common sense, don't have common sense, in my view. And I'm talking from my own experience. They think they're being rational or logical and analyzing certain situations correctly, but they're not. This is call it what it is. And it being a man in his position where he's getting a lot of flack, probably from all directions. This video is one of them. I think that what he should have done, or what he should do, and I'm not trying to tell the man what to do with his own show. I saw that he brings on certain figures onto his show, not the ESPN show, but the Stephen A. Smith show. He'll bring on certain voices who largely agree with his side of the aisle, so to speak, or he largely agrees with. But I haven't seen him bring on many conservative voices yet to actually address the political issues as what he's discussing, which I think some of them would actually educate him on what Trump truly stands for. Because it doesn't seem like Trump, with all Stephen A., the homework he does, when you listen to him speak as a sports analyst, he didn't really do. And if you've been watching him and listened to him, you can tell Stephen A. Smith did not really do his own due diligence on Donald Trump. But I like what he's going to say by the end of this video.
As opposed to yourself, and not engaging in a kind of juvenile.
Actually, excuse me, he already said it. He would now consider voting for Donald Trump rather than not.
Now tendencies, tweeting all the time and going after people who are really much irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. You do things like that and you show that you're the adult in the room. Yeah, I don't think anybody could dismiss Donald Trump at this particular moment in time, not just because of him, but because of what we've seen the Democrats do. We're not falling for it any longer. The American people aren't falling for it any longer. I voted Democrat, and I got to tell you something right now. I don't like the fact that I did. I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't want to hear about, oh, we're about law. We're about a law. Nobody's above the law. Nobody's above the law. But then you go out and you pardon your son and you try to blame everybody else for it. I don't want to hear about defund the police. I don't want to hear about, what there should be open borders. I don't want to hear this stuff. And I don't think most of the American people want to hear that. We're thinking about the state of affairs that's in. We're not about America only, but being about America and prioritizing what's going on in this nation with the desolate and the distant.
No, we're not about America only, but we are about America first. And tell me when you heard, probably since Ronald Reagan, and I don't ever remember hearing him say this, and I have not done my deep dive on President Reagan, so I can't tell you for sure he did or did not say this. But how many politicians have you actually heard campaigned on and implemented policies that were America First based? That's the part I don't get. People like Stephen A. don't seem to listen to. They hear it, but they don't hear it.
To franchise and everybody else in between, and looking out for the best interest of what it is for America. That is not a crime for an American politician or commander in chief or a senator or a congressional figure to have that mentality. I want them to have that mentality. So I think about things along those lines. And I'm no longer interested in, nor do I believe any of us should be interested in listening to a bunch of fear mongering to tell us who we shouldn't vote for. Why don't you come up with a plan that tells us why we should vote for you? That's what I'm interested in. And if Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Byron Donald, Marco Rubio, or the host of other Republican candidates coming down the pike, that's the kind of message that they're going to put forth, I'm down for it. I'm open-minded enough to make sure that I entertain that from a policy perspective. That's what I want for the American people. That's what I want for this nation.
That's why we love you, my man. Now, one quick question. I don't have a lot of time left.
So they're going to play around here, so I don't want to deal with that. They have a friendly discussion here. They're having a friendly discussion, so I'll let them have that. But I wanted to just show that people like Stephen A., voices like Stephen A., see, people like him have to go through an eye-opening experience in order to have a change of heart, a change of mind. This is not something you could have just told somebody like a Stephen A. Many of you probably have family members or friends who would not listen to you, and they would not do their due diligence with Donald Trump. They kept going off of what the mainstream media says because they love you, they trust you, but they don't respect you. That's one of the things I've come to find out in life. Some of the people closest to you will not listen to any of your advice. They hear you. But if somebody else comes along whom they don't know, but they respect, they're more apt to act like they got a revelation from that other person rather than from you. And you have to just take it. I have made some of that same mistakes too, I will admit. So, and of course, I call my own self out too. I would say, Darius, that was stupid. I don't call myself stupid, but I would say, hey, Darius, that was stupid, that was unwise, that was wrong, or whatever. And at times I have it, when the opportunity presented itself, I admitted, I went to my mentor, I went to whomever I had to, and I apologized to him about it. I said, listen, I was wrong. You was right. It's really that simple for me. I don't like being wrong. I ain't got a problem saying that. But when I have been wrong, and if I'm wrong in the future, I'm man enough to say so. So people like Stephen A., who have gone through the last 4 years in terms of politics, but this is also a lesson in life. There's some people who are going to choose, not as a right, but as a privilege. They're going to choose to experience certain pain, certain ills, certain uncomfortable moments in their lives just in the name of their own pride or whatever. They're not going to do their due diligence. They're not going to take wise advice ahead of time. And they're going to go through a period that's going to cost them. And it's going to become a lesson to them because they wanted that experience. So be it. But I'm glad it's better late than never. But time is always of the essence. Let me know what you think. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, and share this channel. Thank you. I'll see you on the next one. And remember, Jesus loves you. So do I.